Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. We have just about 24 hours to end 2023, and I wish you a happy new year. I pray that 2024 is going to be better than 2023 and the beginning of the best years of your life. Now, today's true crime story is coming from the Pinellas County in the United States of America, and it's another case that has sort of tainted Christmas for some families. It is a case which has ended in two teenagers being currently in custody after the shooting that resulted in the demise of their own sister on the eve of Christmas this year. And guess what started this whole incident? I don't think you get it right, so I'll not wait for your guess, because the whole incident which led to this shooting started over an argument about Christmas presents. Yeah, you heard me right. So the case involves two brothers and their sister. One of the brothers is 14 years old and the other is 15 years old. Now, the 14-year-old brother apparently was not happy with the amount of presents that his 15-year-old brother was getting from their mom as compared to what he was getting. Now, this argument started and it was getting heated. At this point in time, they were at their grandma's house in the Pinellas County. And it also turns out that that was the same house where their sister's kids were going to stay while their sister went to work. So this argument was going on and on and on, and at a point in time it got heated. So when it got heated, the 14-year-old allegedly pulled out a weapon and pointed it at his brother, the 15 years old, at that point threatening him with the weapon. His brother didn't budge. It became a heated argument, but then family members who were on site were able to separate them. Little did they know that the issue was far from over, because their expectation was that as at the point of separating them, they will cool down and the whole issue will die off. But then the whole thing took a different twist, because also outside was their sister, 23-year-old Abriel Baldwin. Now, Abriel Baldwin, at this point in time, had her 11-month-old baby with her in her career. Abriel has two kids, which includes this 11-month-old baby. So, when her 14-year-old brother came outside, Abriel told the teenagers to essentially just chill out, because after all, it's Christmas, and that Christmas is not really so much about the gifts and the presents, but it's rather about the love we share as a family. This was supposed to be something that makes sense. I agree with her. It makes sense. But unfortunately for her, she was talking to a 14-year-old brother of hers who had lost his point of reason, and before anybody could say jack, her 14-year-old brother fatally shot her in the chest. Fortunately, her baby was not injured because the baby was in the carrier. But unfortunately, Abriel couldn't survive. And just like that, on the eve of Christmas, Abriel Baldwin, a mother of two, with one of the kids being an 11-month-old baby, had just been lost at the hands of her own 14-year-old brother over an argument over Christmas gifts with their 15-year-old brother. Does it make sense, right? Yeah. But then it didn't end there, because immediately after this 14-year-old brother had shot Abriel, the 15-year-old brother, who was being argued with by the 14-year-old brother, also ran outside, pulled out his weapon and fired at his 14-year-old brother, and then this 15-year-old brother just bolted after doing this. This was how the whole family was just thrown into a state of confusion within a space of some few minutes, just because one sibling was unhappy about what he had received on Christmas. Doesn't make sense to me, and it cannot make sense to me, because this 14-year-old brother by name DeMarcus was just supposed to have chilled out. Just doesn't make sense as to how come he would escalate things so fast. And my question was, the 15-year-old brother, also called Dakus Collie, also had a weapon, and this 14-year-old also had a weapon. What were the family members doing about this? Where was their father? Where was their mother? These are key questions, because at that age, I don't think they are even allowed to carry such weapons on them. There are people saying that they had these weapons on them because of how dangerous their neighborhoods had become. Yeah, I respect the fact that sometimes certain places become so dangerous, people need to protect themselves. But yeah, it should also be done legally. You don't go breaking a law just so you protect yourself. Because for me, I think that DeMarcus was trigger happy. Probably these two brothers were trigger happy. And to go to the extent of unaliving your sister who is trying to speak some sense to you, it's a whole level of crazy. Because at a point in time, it's not just about him having the weapon. The question is also about, was he on something? Because what level of anger or pain would escalate you to the point that you look your sister in the face whilst she's with her 11-month-old baby, and then decide to unalive her with your weapon? It doesn't make sense at all. It does not make sense at all. I think that there is more to the background of these kids than we've been able to find out so far, because they seem so trigger happy. I wouldn't be surprised if they had any form of gang ties or they had any form of initiation that makes them feel the need to always be trigger happy. Or maybe they were under the influence of something. I don't know. Because I don't think that this can be done out of normal human thinking. It's Christmas. Even Santa Claus gives gifts to people who deserve it, or let me say to kids who deserve it. And these guys were clearly on the naughty list. So you have been able to receive a gift from your grandma. You've been able to receive a gift, and you are comparing what you received to what your brother received. Yeah, I understand that kind of sibling rivalry. But for it to get to the point where weapons are pulled out over gifts, then maybe it was even better you never were given any gift at all, because then wouldn't have been even been anything to fight over between these siblings. And to take out your anger on your own sister, and in the way and fashion in which he did it, I don't know. So he was instantly also taken down by his brother, the 15-year-old, and then he bolted. And looking at how these guys did it, I don't think this might be their first time firing at somebody. Unfortunately, their sister, Abriel, did not make it out alive. And just like that, her kids have lost their mom at the hands of their uncle. Yeah. I think that this is a senseless act by DeMarcus, the 14-year-old. And for the fact that his 15-year-old brother also came and felt that it is important he also retaliates by also firing at him, shows you the kind of toxic sibling tension that they had between them. I don't know. Families have misunderstandings, but not to this extent. You would expect that there will be a line that they've drawn and that some of these things will not get to that point. But unfortunately, it did. And the whole family, just like that, were thrown into a state of sorrow over this entire Christmas. My heart goes out to them. But my question still stands. Where were their parents, especially the dad? Because the mom was accounted for. She gave them something. But where was the father? Because boys, especially in their teenage years, need a father to give them a firm hand. And these guys are behaving in a manner that I am suspecting they might not have had their father in the picture, because they seem so out of control. They seemed so out of control. And to feel that he needed to take his sister out the way he did. And for his brother to also feel he needed to take his brother out the way he tried doing. Now the sister is lost. The two brothers are also under arrest. And these kids, just like that, have lost their mom. There was no mention of Abriel's husband or baby father. I don't know if there's one though, but we need the men around. We need the fathers around. In the absence of that, sometimes these kids just lose their way, especially the men, because 14 and 15 years old, they are just some few years away from 18 years, and they're already wilding out, and they are pulling out weapons on Christmas Eve in their homes. Your grandma was there. You couldn't even respect her enough to keep your trash out of the family. And these things happened so fast. The 15-year-old tried running, but he was later apprehended. So we are waiting to see how this goes. I think this will be an open and shut case. I don't think the Marcus, the 14-year-old, is going to get any lighter sentence. I think he's going to get a very harsh punishment. Not just that, I'm not sure how it's going to play out because he's a 14-year-old. Definitely he cannot be tried as an adult. But if there is any stiffer sanction for kids or for teenagers, I'm sure probably he's going to get that. And for his 15-year-old brother, I don't think he can plead self-defense. He wasn't defending himself. I think he is also going to be in a similar vein and situation as his 14-year-old brother, DeMarcus, because he also fired at him, just that he didn't pass on. My heart goes out to the family, but hey, look out for each other. It's normal to have family disputes. Sometimes it gets heated, but don't allow it to get to the point where weapons are drawn. This Christmas seems to have been marred in some families by a lot of violence, some of which have led to loss of lives, and it's rather unfortunate. I'm hoping that people will learn from these things. Don't wait to see it happening in yours. If you watch the video, take a cue and learn, and try to be an agent of peace so that these things can be de-escalated. And that is what Abriel was trying to do. She was trying to just de-escalate. But unfortunately, in an effort to do so, Abriel Baldwin's brother, DeMarcus, just surprised her by just unaliving her just like that. It's unfortunate, but, well, some would say justice will be served. Sometimes I say I don't think that will be enough justice. At best, it's going to give them something of a closure, because no matter the sentence that is given to the person responsible for her passing, it cannot bring her back. The damage has already been done. The history has been made. And her kids are going to grow up to get to see these things and know about these things. And I hope it doesn't continue or start a chain of family rivalry, because it's too deep and heavy. Subscribe to this channel if you are yet to do so. Turn on the post notifications. Leave your comments in the comment section. Catch you on the next one.